a strap and a block or a stool or something. We're gonna do a triangle pose today, Trikonasana. So it's nice to have a block on the outside of your leg for that pose. Something to lift you, maybe a stool or something, is really useful when we get to that. So a strap or a belt or something of that ilk and a block. And we'll get started. Starting in a seat, if you do have a block, you can put that underneath your sit bones or a pillow or something to lift the hips. I find at the beginning of my practice lifting my seat to be very useful. And go ahead and settle into the seat. Find your sit bones rooting towards the earth. Notice the spine growing tall towards the sky. Beginning the flow of breath in and out through the nose. Elongate the inhales and the exhales. Notice how it feels to be still at the beginning of practice. Taking this time to begin the practice of calling yourself in. Letting the other stuff settle into the background as you ground into this moment. So when the attention, when the mind wanders towards something external, something in past or future, bring it back to the internal world of the present now. Notice if there is a sense of urgency to move or shift. Simply notice that without needing to do anything about it. Encourage the next inhale and exhale to be the longest ones you've taken yet. And as you scan the body here, noticing what sensations call your attention. Just assessing what's going on in the body today. Level of energy. Do you feel open? Do you feel closed? Is it easy to feel present? Is it difficult? And we'll begin to move the body in order to start to move some of this energy. Let's take circles. They can start off small, they can start off big, whatever encourage you to keep the eyes closed here. Let it get messy. Let it not look symmetric. Move in the opposite direction if you have not yet. The head can flop around. Again, moving in the opposite way. And once more around the opposite direction. Pause. Come to center. Switch which shin or foot is in front. Hands to knees. And begins to stir up either direction to begin with. The breath stays long and smooth, in and out the nose, as long as that's available. Move in the opposite rotation. It can be fast or slow. Opposite way. Getting into our hips. Once again, opposite rotation. Pause, center yourself, feel your sit bones root, feel your belly pull up and in, lengthen the spine, drop the shoulders away from ears. Crown of the head grows long towards the sky. The low belly pulls up and in. Sweep the arms up and overhead. And from side to side, right hand down, left arm up and over towards the right. Inhale through center, drop left hand, exhale right hand over towards the left. Inhale, center. Let it be like you're moving through water. A beautiful dance here, a dance with the dog. I love seeing the puppies. Up and over. Once more each way. Tip to the right and tip to the left. Finishing on the left side, come to center, roll shoulders up and down the back, open the heart, really exaggerate this heart opening, chin can lift, get big, get cartoonish with it even, and let it mean something. I'm opening my heart, I'm allowing it to shine, I'm leading with it. And pause as the shoulders roll down the back. Switch the crossing of the shins once more. Heart lifted, shoulders down the back, chin to chest. Rock from side to side, like a marble in a bowl. Rocking gently here. And as you feel ready, you can take a full rotation in one direction. Do that same direction 3 times. And then pause after the third. Take it the opposite way. Notice if the ribs and shoulders are getting very involved. Try to let it just be the neck, chin to chest after the third rotation. And then lift. Wonderful. We're going to come off our seat and onto our back. If you didn't hear, grab a strap. Towel, strap, belt. Foot into the strap, right foot lifts. Heel to sky. Left foot can be on the floor. Knee pointing to sky. Or you might extend the left leg long if it feels available, more open. Keep lifting up through the heel. Keep sending the femur bone into the hip socket. And maybe the toes can float ever so gently towards the back of the mat. Just breathing here. Take the strap into the right hand. Take the left hand onto the left hip. If the left leg is long, take the left hand onto the upper thigh. Keep that left leg engaged if the leg is long. Twist the toes on the right foot towards the outer edge of the mat. And then begin to open the leg any amount. And let the strap really support the weight of the leg here, so the arm is active. And the toes are rotating more towards the earth than the heel, getting external rotation in the thigh. Notice if the right hip is hiking up towards the waist, drop it in line with the left hip. Keep that left leg engaged. This shape right here, this is very similar to triangle pose, Trikonasana, which is a pose we'll be doing today. Only we would be standing on the soles of our feet. So think about lots of space on the right side waist by cutting the right hip back towards the front of the mat and hugging it in towards the left hip. And then bring the leg back through center. Take the strap into the left hand, take the right thumb into the hip crease. Seal that hip towards the earth and then just cross the midline of the body. Give a gentle roll of the inner right thigh towards the front of the mat. You'll probably feel the outer edge of the leg really fire up here. This pose is very similar to twisted triangle, slightly different. Another breath or two. It's also really similar to twisted Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. We won't be doing that one today. That one is top 5 of my least favorite poses. I don't think I've ever taught it. One more breath here. And bring it back through center. Lift the left leg, hook it into the strap, lower the right foot to the mat. Start here. Opening the back of the leg, both hands on the strap, shoulders on the earth. And then maybe that right leg goes long if it's feeling available. The outer left hip keeps hugging in and rolling forward, and the toes might float back a little bit more as the femur bone hooks into the hip socket. Low back pressing to the earth. Go ahead and take the strap into the left hand. The right hand lands on the hip or maybe the upper thigh. The toes of the left foot roll towards the left side of the mat. And slowly you begin to take the left leg out to the side. With that external rotation, toes rolling towards the earth, heel rolling towards the sky. Outer hips hugging towards one another, belly pulling up and in. This is active, we're not passive here. Outer left hip, roll it forward. Hug it towards the right. There might be some shaking here. That's good. That is the kind of stress we're looking for to strengthen our muscles. Bring the leg back through center. Take the left thumb into the hip crease. The right hand holds both sides of the strap here. Belly to spine, heel points to the sky on the left leg. If the right leg is long, it is engaged. And then we just take the leg across the body. You'll know when you've gone far enough. There's really no question here in this pose. Am I there? Yeah, you'll feel it. The inner thigh rolls forward. The outer hip rolls forward, hugs in, get lots of space through the left side waist. Bring the leg through center. The right leg goes up. You can take the strap away, put it to the side. Point the toes, flex the feet, move the ankles around. Knees could be bent here. Your legs don't have to be perfectly straight. Pause with legs up towards the sky. You can either flex the feet or you could give a little bit of a floint. You pull the toes back, spread them wide, but point the ball of the foot. Belly to spine. Arms reach up to the sky. Lift up towards the sky. Try not to drop chin to chest. Keep the gaze up. Feet stay over hips if legs are straight. If knees are bent, they might even be bent to parallel with the shins. Now imagine you're climbing a rope. Right hand grabs, left arm comes on top of the right. So keep going. Each time you grab with one side of one hand, that side of the body is really working. We're getting our obliques engaged here. We need our obliques for our Trikonasana. 10 more seconds. Can you get 5 more grabs? And lower down, hug the knees in, hold. Little rock side to side, press tailbone to the earth as you do this. Feet to the earth, hips distance. Press the heels down, lift the hips up. And roll down. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, stretch front body. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Hug the knees in. Rock forward and back along the spine. Come up and over into child's pose. Big toes touch, knees apart, forehead to the earth. Torso surrenders between the thighs. A little rocking side to side. And again, assessing how is it in this body today. Taking this moment to call yourself back in, continuously doing this through the practice. Noticing what energy you have, what energy you're willing to expend in this practice today. And on the inhale, come up to tabletop. Organize yourself, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. When you press down into the hands, first of all, index fingers are parallel, if not slightly flared out. Try and press firmly into the fleshy part between thumb and index. Fingers are wide. And then press down into all of the base knuckles that go around the circumference of the palm. And try and be light in the heel of the hand on the pinky side. Press up into all the fingertips. Tip the heart forward. Inhale. Exhale, dome the back, chin to chest, belly button pulls up in it. Inhale, cow. Press the heart forward, tailbone to sky. Exhale, round it in. Take some circles. You can add them in at any point. Hip circles, shoulder circles, ribs, neck. Let it be a free exploration of the body. It doesn't have to be symmetric. What if you always go in one direction? Challenge yourself to go the opposite direction as well. And again, the eyes might be closed to remove your own external gaze and take it internal. Tabletop in 2 breaths from now. And then as you land in your steady tabletop, step the right foot back, press through the heel, belly pulls up and in. Step the left foot back, here we are in plank. If the hips are sagging, pull more from the low belly to lift the hips higher. Or drop the knees, but still keep that engagement of lifting the hips. Feel the heels reach back. The inner thighs roll up. Outer hips hug in. The front body hugs towards the back body. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Hips up and back, soft bend in the knees. Downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet. Forward and back. Inhale, plank forward. Exhale, dog back. Keep moving with the breath. Inhale is forward. Exhale is back. Can you make it really fluid? Like a wave. Pause the next time you land in down dog. And walk your hands towards your feet. Forward fold at the back of the mat. Feet are hips distance. You can take 2 fists between the inner arches of the feet to measure that out. Have a nice soft bend in the knees so you can release more from the low back. As you bend the knees, you can get connection with torso towards the thighs. And feel the inner thighs spiral back. Imagine the sit bones smiling away from one another. So you're getting more space between the sit bones. And that encourages the outer hips to hug. Another breath or 2 here. You can hold opposite elbows. Release the hands from the elbows. Take them onto the shins. Pull belly up and in. Bend the knees deeply like you're about to jump off a ski run or something. And look forward. Keep pulling tailbone back. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the hips up. Lower the torso down. Forward fold. Inhale. Look forward. Deep bend in the knees. Exhale. Fold in. Keep going. Inhale brings you forward. Exhale folds you in. Inhale. Last one. Exhale, fold in, pause. Roll up, 1 vertebrae at a time. You can shake out the shoulders as you arrive towards Tadasana. And in Tadasana, you organize yourself here. Can you do it with eyes closed? Feel your feet on the earth. Feel the inner arches lift, outer ankles hug. Softness in the knees. Inner thighs spiral back. Tailbone drops. Belly pulls up and in. Front ribs hug back body. Shoulders roll onto the back. Palms face forward. Heart lifts. Chin is parallel to the earth. Crown of the head reaching to the sky. So much just to stand. Eyes closed. Call your energy in. Feel yourself rooted into your feet. If you choose to open the eyes, blink them open, take a soft gaze. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Tilt your pelvis as you fold in. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, sweep the arms up and overhead. Utthita Hasta Tadasana. Look up to the prayer. Exhale, lead with the heart. Fold back in. Half sun salutations. Inhale, heart lifts halfway. Exhale, fold in. Plant into the feet, sweep the arms up, gather up some sky, hands come to touch, bring them to heart center. Arms float up, inhale, split the arms, fold forward, exhale. Heart lifts, flat back. This time, walk the hands to downward facing dog. Float forward to plank. Come over onto your tippy toes. Either drop the knees or lower to chaturanga. Pause in chaturanga for a breath or two. Lower all the way down. Uncurl the toes. Hands line up underneath elbows. Tops of the feet seal to the earth. Press those pinky toes down. Press the pelvis to the earth. Zip belly to spine. Lift halfway up. Cobra. Elbows together, shoulder blades together. Lower down. Walk the hands off the mat in line with the shoulders. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Undulate. Inhale. The wave comes up. Exhale, it crashes down. Inhale, lift. This time, exhale. The right shoulder dips in. You look over to the left. Inhale, come up. Exhale, left shoulder, look to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, right shoulder dips. Inhale, lift. Keep pressing the toes to the earth. Left shoulder dips. Inhale, center. Lower center. Walk the hands in beside the chest. We're going to lift up either to cobra or up dog. Press tops of the feet. Inhale, come for your back bend. Belly to spine, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Gather yourself here. Sometimes the movement can kick us out of our center. That is part of this practice. Part of the practice is coming off center so that we can come back to center. So we can have that in our toolbox. How do I come back to myself when things get kicked up in life? Left leg, lift it up and back. Inhale. Exhale, step the foot through to the hands. Swivel the back heel down towards the earth. Coming into warrior two, so the back foot is on a slight angle. Press into the front heel and lift into your warrior two. It's our first warrior two. Let's lower the hands so that we can organize the body in proper alignment. We make sure we are heel to arch, perhaps heel to heel, depending on the flexibility in our hips. Start with that back leg, press firmly into it. You can even come out of that front knee some so that you can really press into that back foot. Feel the outer edge of the back foot root down. That's our right foot. The inner arch is lifting. The toes are dictating the angle of the knee and the hip. So make sure those are all lined up. Feel the inner right thigh roll back behind you towards the wall behind you. That helps you to engage more in the back heel as well. So we've got that leg nice and engaged. Notice your hips. Here I'm exaggerating it a bit. My hips are askew. They're not equidistant from the earth. So I'm going to use my core and drop my right hip down until my left hip, like a lever, comes up and is nice and even distance from the earth. And then bend into the front leg. Keep that back leg so engaged. Notice if that left knee, our front knee here, is collapsing in towards the middle of the mat. Keep it right over the second, pointing right over the second and third toe on the foot by hugging that left hip back and under. And then the chest. So there's a little twist in the torso. The chest comes square to the edge of the mat and the arms reach out from the chest. The heart is lifted. What a beautiful pose this is. Look over towards the left fingertips and just beyond. That space in the air that has nothing to look at. It's just a location. Breathe in here. Inhale, float the arms up, straighten into the front leg. Turn the left toes to point towards the right side of the mat. Bring the feet parallel. Hands to hips. If you have a stool or a block and you know you like it for forward folds, go ahead and set that up in front of you. So the edges of the feet are parallel with the front and back of the mat. Soft bend in the knees, hands to hips. Think of the tailbone reaching down as the heart reaches up. And then we're coming up and over as we tilt the pelvis. Hands can land. You can be on a block or any kind of support. Wherever you land, maybe the hands make it to the earth. Whatever, doesn't matter. Wherever you land, let the head hang. Feel the inner thighs spiral behind you. That helps the outer hips hug more. Soft bend in the knees to get more weight to the ball of the foot. Breathe into the inner groin, the hamstrings, the low back. All are being offered this opportunity for release. Inhale, come up halfway. Maybe you've got a block here. Belly to spine, outer hips hug. Begin to float the hands to the hips. A little bit of balance. Lift up towards standing. Heels in, toes out. 45 degrees with the feet. So the right toes are pointing to the back right side of the mat. The left toes are pointing to the top right side of the mat. Coming into goddess pose, sink those hips down. Maybe the arms can float up. So what's nice here is the sensation of the tailbone dropping, frontal hip points lifting from your core, from your pelvic floor. That muscle that you would use to stop yourself from peeing, engage there. Feel the heart open wide here. In this stress of the pose, call yourself in. Maybe the eyes can close or you choose one point of focus. Gather yourself in this moment. Find your strength, find your core. Straighten into the legs. Whoo, hands down. Little shift, take a moment. Yeah. We're going to continue moving more towards the back of the mat. Right toes point to the back of the mat. If you're using a block for Trikonasana, go ahead and set it up outside of the right foot or right shin. The left toes come in on a slight angle. The feet are the same setup as Warrior Two. So heel to heel or heel to arch. Whatever you did on the first side usually makes sense on the second side, but you explore. Press into the ball of the front foot, which is our right foot here. Engage the knee so that it's lifting up the kneecap, but keep a slight bend in the knee so we're not jamming into the ligaments behind the knee. You can get this accomplished by lifting the toes. So the ball of the foot is pressing, but you could lift the toes and feel that soft bend in the knee. You can also feel the sensation of calf moving towards shin. We're going to start with this right hip. We're going to cut it back. So as we cut it back, we keep getting length, 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 length through the right side. You could reach the hand away to accentuate that length. And then the hand can come onto a block, maybe the floor if that's available to you. It's not really, I don't think it's ever been available to me. The proportion of my limbs is not that. Don't forget that back leg. Just like in Warrior Two, root down the sharp edge of the foot, lift the inner arch, and roll the inner thigh behind you. The top arm can sweep overhead and perhaps scoop overhead for this lifted Utthita Hasta Trikonasana. Belly to spine. If you want some more core, maybe you float that bottom hand. Pretend you're holding a block. Takes a lot of core to do it with no support from that lower hand. Maybe you try it and you're like, not today. Keep cutting that right hip back and down like you could kiss the left heel with it. One more breath in. And then turn the chest towards the earth. Bend into the right knee. Come onto the back toes. You could walk the right foot more to the right. If you did use a block, you can send it towards what was the front of the mat back there behind you, because we'll get to it. Plant the hands, step back through plank. A vinyasa if you'd like it, or straight into dog, or hold child's pose for 3 breaths. We have so many options in this practice, and it's good to remember that. Gather yourself. Right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step the foot to the hands. The back heel swivels. We're taking our time to set up this warrior 2. So lift the torso, hands to hips. You can come out of that front bend some so you can really press into that back foot. Lifting the inner arch, rolling that left thigh towards what it was the front of the mat. And follow toes, knee, hip, all in the same direction. They're pointing this way. Hands to hips. Notice if that right hip is collapsed forward, pull it up as it sends the left hip down. Tailbone to the earth, pelvic floor lifts, and then you can bend towards 90 in that front knee, that right knee. Root down into that front heel. As you root into the front heel, can you imagine pulling the femur bone deep into the hip socket? The arms can extend out as the chest comes square to the side of the mat. And the fingertip, or you gaze over the fingertips. Feel the side waist lengthen to the armpits. Maybe the eyes close as you gather yourself in the difficulty of this pose. Here I am, perfectly capable of this difficulty. Inhale, float the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, hands to hips, toes point towards the side of the mat. Heart lifts. You can take an interlace of the hands if you want a little shoulder opening, heart opening here as you fold in. Or hands can stay on the hips or move to a block or a stool. Soft bend in the knees, inner thighs spiral back. If you did interlace the hands, bring them back to the hips. Pull belly to spine, lift halfway up. Use your core, use your outer hips. Come all the way up to standing. Heels in, toes out, hands to thighs, sink down. Goddess pose, wide straddle. Belly up and in. Hands on the thighs. Just like we did that undulating movement with our spine when we were on our bellies, we're going to take it here. Inhale is center. Exhale, the right shoulder dips. You look towards the left. Little twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, left shoulder dips. Little twist to the right. Inhale, center. Once more each side. You're gathering yourself. Inhale, center. Float the arms up. Sink a little bit lower. Last moment. Come all the way up. Beautiful. Hands to hips. Bring the right toes in. Spin the left toes towards the top of the mat. Set your block if you're using it. Press into that back foot. So strong that quadricep is engaged. Belly pulls up and in. Cut the left hip back. Reach the left hand forward. And then hand to block or stool. Top arm up. Keep that engagement of the calf towards shin to avoid the knee from buckling. And then the top arm can scoop overhead as you're ready. And if you tried it on the first side, give it a go on the second to float the bottom hand. One more breath in. And exhale. exhale, fold over the front leg, bend the left knee. Come onto the back toes. Step into plank. Choose a vinyasa, but gather yourself through it. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Step the foot outside of the right hand. Lower the back knee to the earth. Uncurl the toes. Little rock, side to side here. You can pause down center. You might have a block under the hands. You might have the elbows on the block. You might bring the elbows towards the earth. It's an exploration. Every day is different, I promise. After 17 years of practice, I can attest to the truth of that statement. And if it feels useful, you can bring the left heel towards the tush. That gives you quite a quad stretch on its own. You might swing the right hand back and catch hold of the foot. A block under the hands is useful here to move towards that, or even a strap can help. One more breath here. Release gently. Hands to the earth. Moving towards single pigeon. If that is not your jam, just go ahead and come onto your back for reclined pigeon, figure 4. The right foot moves to the left. The heel can be close to the left hip, or you might work towards a more parallel shin towards the front of the mat. The right knee is closer to the edge of the mat than the right hip. So you've got space for your hips. Lift your chest, and then begin to fold yourself in any amount. Follow the journey. There's no rush. There's no need for that. About 5 more breaths here. And slowly lifting as you're ready. Plant the hands, tuck the toes, step up and back to down dog. Pedal the feet. And lift the left leg. Step it over to the outside of the left hand. Lower the back knee. Start with the rock. Side to side is different. Never mind day to day. You can pause down center, deciding. Maybe bent elbows, or you could pulse. And then maybe, if it's useful, bend the right knee, feel the stretch in the quad, flex the foot. The left hand can swing back if that's available to catch hold, or use a strap. Try and roll the shoulders away from the ears. hands to the earth as the left foot walks over to the right for single pigeon on this side, or if you're on your back, switching ankle over knee, figure 4 to reclined pigeon. Again, notice the right foot is directly in line with the right hip. Press into the top of the foot. The left knee is on the outside of the left hip, more towards the left side of the mat. Lift the hips, or lift the heart, and then fold in. Gather yourself here. Two more rounds of breath. And then lifting yourself. Swing the right leg forward. Sit onto your sit bones, knees bent, pointing towards the sky. Hands behind hamstrings, lift the heart, walk the feet side by side. We're going to do a little bit of core here. So as you lift the heart, try and pull the heels in close to you, belly to spine. A little shifting as you lift the heels, finding your center of balance. It shifts, yes. Belly pulls up and in, front ribs hug back body. The toes might float. You can keep hold of the thighs to allow a little extra help here with the arms. Shins may be parallel to the earth. Feel the inner thighs spiral in. Maybe the legs can straighten a bit more. Whoo. And then perhaps the arms can float. Navasana, not an easy pose, a very difficult pose. A lot of hip flexor strength here. Inhale. And we're going to lower down. So hands can be on the earth behind the hips as we lower towards the earth. And then lift back up. You can use hands behind the thighs. Lower. Maybe you explore no hands. Hey Malik, no hands. A few more moments of this. It's such a short amount of time in your life. 2 more. Gather yourself, gather your energy in this difficulty. Lower the feet, hands behind the hips. Let's do a reverse tabletop. Stretch the front body. The head can hang back if that feels okay on the neck. Lower the hips down. Whew. Extend the legs in front of you. Scoop the flesh out from under your sit bones. Float the arms up. Fold over the legs. Knees can be bent here. Just like in a forward fold, as you bend the knees deeply, you can get the chest closer to the legs. And then let the head hang. Think of the sit bones shooting back behind you. Flutter the lips. And roll up. Scoot hips to heels. And lower onto your backs. Press heels to the earth. You could tickle them with your fingers. Flatten the lumbar curve. Press into the heels as you lift the hips. Roll the shoulders under one at a time. Either clasp hands or hold edges of the mat. Notice if the chin is collapsing towards the chest. Lift the chin, press back of the head to the mat. As you root into the heels, you can soften the glutes because our hamstrings are activated. Think of the frontal hip points pulling towards the front ribs. Think of the heart shining, opening, intentionally getting bigger, wider, stronger. As we gather ourselves in, we recognize our own strength. Instead of having all of our power hemorrhaging out externally, we have the opportunity to really get fully centered. If the hands are clasped, release them as you lower the hips to the earth. Walk feet wide, knees together. Knock the knees from side to side, windshield wiping. Let the knees stay over to the right. If you'd like a deeper twist, you can stack the knees, stack the hips, coming into a supine twist with chest open to the sky. Come back through center, feet wide. Let the knees fall to the left. The right arm stays reaching out to the side. And maybe if you'd like a bit of a deeper supine twist, you can stack knees, stack hips. Come back through center, hug the knees towards the chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze here. Hands between the thighs. And hold on to the shins, the ankles, or edges of the feet and come into happy baby. You might rock a bit, finding some more opening through the hips. You could extend one leg at a time. Yeah, kicking the legs is lovely. And then 2 more breaths to come towards stillness. Bring the soles of the feet together, press the knees away for a moment. And then bring the knees together, hug them down center. Release the legs. Set up whatever shape you would like for Shavasana. Take a long breath in through the nose and a long breath out the mouth. Feel the body landing into the earth. You've already gathered all of your energy. You've gathered yourself here for this moment. And so now I invite you to really take this moment, these moments, to have the experience of having called yourself in through this whole hour. And now just trust. Trust that the work was done. Trust that it will have the effect that you intended. Trust your ability to show up. Trust the earth beneath you holding you here. And begin to deepen the breath. Move the fingers, point and flex the feet. Rock the head from side to side. Sweep the arms up and overhead, stretch long. And then gather yourself into a nice tight squeeze. And find your way into a comfortable seat, whatever route that is. Feel your seat towards the earth, crown of the head towards the sky. Take a moment and notice. How is it to gather your energy here? Is there more ease than at the top of the practice? Bask in all of the energy that you've called back. Throughout our day, I think most of us are surrendering lots of power and sending out our useful energy that we can just bring it back. We can just bring it back. We can call it back in. And this practice helps that. Palms come together in front of the heart. Heart lifts, head bows, acknowledging all of the beautiful energy you have. And now you can use this energy to direct it specifically towards a goal. Shanti, peace.